Hello, Rio Grande third graders. It's Monday, and we are going to look at our 4 problems today for our DMA. Remember, I need you to come back every day and check these problems so that we can continue with our third grade skills. You're going to need those third grade skills for next year. So let's continue with our problems today. We have 7 times n equals 7. So I have 7 groups of a number or an amount, and when I add those all up, I still get 7. So what would have to be in each one of these groups, of these 7 groups, that would need or add up to be 7? Or what could I multiply times 7 to get 7? So if I put something here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I have 1 object in each group. Now, what I also could think about is if I have 7 groups, if I have 7 objects and I have 7 groups, how many objects will be in each group? Well, that's 1. So we can use what we understand about division with the total objects, which are these, and breaking it apart into the groups and finding out how many objects are going to be in each group. So either way you think about it, this n is standing for the number or representing the number 1. And remember, we call this a variable. That was one of your clue words that I asked you to put into your discussion a while back. So this variable means it's a number that, it's a letter that stands for a number. So 2 groups of 7, 2 groups of 7 is 7 and 7. And remember, we can always use repeated addition to find our total number of objects. And that would be 14. And now we have 3 groups of 9. So 9 here, 9 in there, and 9 in there. So we're going to put 9, 9, and 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18. And if I add 10, that would be 28. And then take 1 away, that would be 27. So 9 plus 9 plus 9 is going to give me 27. And remember, we did talk about the pattern of 9s. So if you remember our pattern of 9s, it starts off with 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Now we're going to take these 2 digits and switch the place values. 54, 63, 72, 81, and finally 90 when we get to 10 times 9. So 1 group of 9, 2 groups of 9, 3 groups of 9, 4 groups of 9, 5 groups of 9, 6 groups of 9, 7 times 9, 8 times 9, 9 times 9, and finally 10 times 9. So if you don't remember that pattern, and if we were to look at the third group of 9, we would see that it's going to be 27. So we can either use repeated addition, or we can use our skip counting skills to find out how many groups of 9, when you get 3 groups of 9 and add them together, you get 27. All right, I'm going to skip the word problem for just a moment. And now I'm going to take a look at our division sentence here. And they're asking us to write a related multiplication sentence. So when we talk about a related multiplication sentence, we're talking about a multiplication sentence that when we take these 54 objects and break them up into 6 groups, we know that there are going to be 9 in each group. Well, with that understanding, we can use multiplication to check our division. How do we do that? Well, if I had 6 groups, And since I just talked about groups of 9, right? And we can take this pattern up here and think about that idea. This would be 9. Another group would be 18. Another group of 9 would be 27. So that's 3 groups of 9. So if 3 groups of 9 is 27, and I have another 3 groups of 9, which is going to be 27, and 27, 9, 9, and 9, we are going, 27, I don't know why I put 26, we are going to see that this ends up being 54. So now that I see that this is a model like multiplication, I can say, oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 9. And when I add all these groups of 9 back up, now instead of I've separated them out, I've got 54 total when I put them all back together. So multiplication and division are opposite of each other. With division, I start with my total and break it up. With multiplication, I take all the groups and I put them all, add all the amounts back together to get my total. So what I want you to do today in your discussion is I want you to write and complete this fact family. Okay? So you already have 2 of the number sentences for your fact family. I want you to go into your discussion today and write the 2 other facts that you would need in a fact family. Remember, a fact family is a set of related multiplication and addition sentences. Please do not write fact family into the discussion. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to write 2 more equations to go with the fact family, okay? Type 2 more equations that are going to go with this fact family. That means you need another multiplication sentence and you need another division sentence, okay? So that's what's going to go into your discussion today for your DMA discussion. All right. Now let's take a look at our next set of problems. So 70, or we could say blank groups of 70 equals 140. Well, we know that we can switch our factors, right? And it's still going to come up with the same product. Now, you can't do that with division because you have to start with the whole in division and break it up into the groups to find how many is in each group. But with multiplication, remember, you're adding. And when you're adding, it doesn't matter the order that you add in, you can still find the same total. So in this case, we still can find the same total. We just got to know how many groups of 70 I need. So one group of 70 is going to be 70. What happens if I add another group of 70? Well, 7 and 7 is 14. So 70 and 70 should be 140. So how many groups of 70 do I need? Well, my n is going to be 2. The number that I'm missing is 2. The next one, I could just do what I can use what I just did here. I can have 2 groups of 70, which is 140. And then I could add another group of, one more group of 40 here. And what happens if I add 40 and 40? Oh, I'm sorry, not 40, 70. I confused myself. I was looking at this 40 over here. I need another group of 70. Well, remember what 3 times 7 is. If I remember what 3 times 7 is, it's 21. So 3 times 70 is going to be 210 because this tells me my place values are going to shift one more to the left. If I were going to do 3 times 700, yes, I would have 2,000. Notice I still have that 21. I would have 2,100. And this, I could continue this pattern forever. 21, and that would be 21,000. So it's good to see patterns in numbers. So we are going to come back up here. It's going to be 210. And if I know that 5 times 9 is equal to 45, then 5, oops, yes, well, I could say, I'm using my understanding of groups of 5. So if I have 9 times 5 is 45, then 9 times 50 is 450. And 9 times 500 would be 4,500. And there would be a pattern to continue there. All right, now let's go back to our word problem. And this word problem is asking you to do 2 steps. Lucy had 18 pansies, that's a type of flower, 12 geraniums, and 6 marigolds. If she divides the flowers, equally between the 3 flower pots, how many flowers will be in each pot? So we have some groups here, and we're taking these flowers and we're dividing them equally into the 3 pots, because it tells you divide equally right here. Everybody see that? It says we're going to divide them equally into the 3 flower pots, or share. Remember, the word share is also a clue word to help you understand that we're breaking up the objects into groups. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to turn my page over and we're going to write as part of our response. So if you didn't notice, each one of those numbers, the 18 geraniums or pansies, the 18 pansies, the 12 geraniums, and the 6 marigolds, and the 6 marigolds are all multiples of, right, 3. Because when you count by 3s, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So these happen to be all multiples of 3. So we could actually take each group of flowers and break them up into these flower pots equally. That's just one way to think about it. So here's a flower pot, here's a flower pot, and here's a flower pot. So these were the, forgot again, marigolds. Marigolds. I'm going to put M for marigolds. These are my flowers, okay? And I'm going to take the flowers and I'm going to divide them equally. So I'm going to start with my pansies. And I have 18 pansies and I'm going to put them equally into the flower pots. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, that one wasn't very, and 18. Okay, so now I've shared the pansies into the flower pot. So far I've got 6 flowers. Just going to lightly put 6 there. Now I'm going to take the geraniums and I'm going to share them equally into the flower pots. So let me use a different color real quick. And I'll show you the geraniums now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we have the geraniums all in the flower pots. So there's 4 geraniums now. Notice that there's 4 geraniums in each flower pot now. And now I'm going to take the marigolds and put those into the pots. and I didn't make my flower pots big enough, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now you can see that I've also been able to put 2 marigolds into each of the flower pots. So I partitioned those, or I put those into, divided those equally, and now I divided my 6 marigolds equally. Now, there's 6 pansies, 4 geraniums, and 2 marigolds in each pot. So that gives me 12 flowers in each pot. Now, another way to think about this is, let's take all of the flowers, put them together, and then take the total and share them equally, which would be division, right? So if I take 18 and 12, well, 8 and 2 is 10, and 10 plus 10 is 20, plus another 10 would be 30, and then 6 makes 36. So together I have 36 flowers, and I'm going to share them or divide them into the 3 flower pots. So I have 36 flowers, and I'm going to divide them equally into the 3 pots or my groups, and I want to know how many flowers each group or each pot. So right now I can just look at this and I see I have 12 in this one, 12 in this one, 12 in this one. So each flower pot is going to have 12 flowers in each pot. So now what you're going to do, and I think you can start doing these on your own as far as writing a response. So you should be able to write a response that states there will be 12 flowers in each pot, because if I add all the flowers together and then I share or divide them into the 3 pots, I will get 12 flowers in each pot. So that's our DMA for today. Don't forget to go back into your discussion and make sure to put in those 2 equations that I asked you to write into your discussion that is about fact families. So have a great day and see you during small group.